Struggling to figure out what to feed your family every night of the week? What happens if I told you that seasonal planning could reduce those hours of stress? Tonight, I'm sharing 6 simple steps so that you feel organized, that the family is well fed, and you have less stress in your life. If you like the sound of today's video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap that bell, and let's get into it. Hey, welcome back to the Rashidis. I'm back, and I am a mum of 4 and full-time teacher, and seasonal planning has been an absolute game changer for me. Life is busy, but seasonal planning has helped me to figure out what we're eating for dinner without the stress of the 5 o'clock rush. It's helped us to save costs because we are planning in advance and shopping for what we need, but it's also helping us to maintain that healthy, balanced diet. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing our 6 simple steps on how we meal plan for an entire season for our family of 6. It really is simple, it's flexible, and it helps you to stay on top of things, especially when you are juggling work, parenting, extracurricular activities. There are so many balls, but this will help you to keep your head above the water. If you've clicked on today's video, then you're looking for a hack that's going to help you to stay consistent with your meal planning, and I can tell you by 5 o'clock, I am completely brain dead. I do not have the luxury or freedom to be able to go to the shops on my way home because I have 4 kids in tow, and the last thing I want to be doing is taking those 4 kids out and going to the grocery store. There is nothing worse in my opinion because they are grumpy and tired, I am grumpy and tired, and I don't have any more brain cells left to make decisions. Meal planning cuts down the stress, it cuts down the decision making because you have got everything lined up, and some of these recipes you can even meal prep on Sunday night, so you're literally just putting it in the oven to cook. Now, thinking about a season, you're thinking 3 months. Oh my gosh, I cannot plan for 3 months, but the trick is to only plan for 4 weeks. You could do 5 or 6 if you wanted to. There have been a couple of seasons gone by that I've planned for 5, because what you are going to do is only plan 4 weeks and then rotate that through 3 times, and then your season is done. So the hack is to look at 1 week at a time. You don't have to sit and plan the entire month in one session. Just look at a week. Within that week, I am looking for the fact that I have a variety of proteins, that I'm not overloading on one specific one. I'm also looking for my carbs. Have I got a variety of them? Because I'm sure if it was up to the kids, we would be eating burgers and pasta every night. So I want to make sure that I'm including a variety of proteins, of carbs, of vegetables, and I'm just trying to make it as simple and easy as I can for myself. A cuisine that is super simple for working parents is definitely Mexican, and I try to have a Mexican night at least once a week, and it's so easy because even if you think of Mexican, in week 1 you could have nachos, in week 2 you could have tacos, in week 3 you could have quesadillas, in week 4 you could have fajitas. Boom, that's 4 weeks of Mexican dinners for that season. The second step in planning out your week is to make sure that you have a flexi night. Flexi night is a complete game changer. This provides you the opportunity to either use up leftovers from previous nights. If you have excess groceries from the week, you can then make a throw together meal. But a flexi night also gives you the freedom that if something comes up where it's a social event, or maybe you're just really tired, or you want to give the kids a reward and get some takeout, you can have a guilt-free night of not having to cook. Now, the other thing to consider when you are creating your week to get it into the rotation of your month is asking the kids what their favorite meals are. Now, I sat down with my kids and there was a common thread. They love sushi, pasta, burgers, wraps, chicken nuggets, and those sorts of meals we can put into rotation, and it's really good because on those nights, I know that dinner is going to be as stress-free as it possibly can. I also take into consideration sometimes those special nights of dinners are going to be on weekends because I'm not going to be able to whip it up after a day of work, because my time frame between when we get home from school and my kids getting hangry is a very small window. I want to make sure that any night that has a lot of cook time or prep time, I'm either pre-prepping or I'm putting it on the weekend where I've got a little bit more freedom. What's your kids' favorite dinner idea? Drop it in the comments below because I'm always on the search for kid-approved dinners. Here in the Rashidi household, we have a phrase which I'm pretty sure is common everywhere, and that is work smarter, not harder. After you have looked at your weeks, you've looked at kid-approved dinner ideas, the other thing that I want you to keep in mind is, are there any ways that you can double up on protein? One of the ways I love to double up on protein is I buy a family-sized chicken that I can slow cook on one night, and I can either serve that with salad or veggies, and then I I could use it in a chicken pasta later on in the week, or I could make some chicken wraps later on in the week. This is a great way to be cost efficient, but it's also really good because it's a simple dinner night when you are just pulling out a protein that you have already prepared earlier. Those are the nights that I really enjoy because I can do more playtime and more interactive time with my kids and less time in the kitchen. My fourth tip is to plan around the busy nights. There is no reason why life should be any more difficult than it needs to be. So if your children have extracurricular activities on a particular night, or you have staff meeting that goes later on in the night, do not plan a meal that is so extravagant that it's going to take you an hour and a half to cook. Those are the nights that I am leaning on my slow cooker to help me cook dinner. I love on those nights coming home late and for dinner to be done, and all I have to do is assemble it onto the plate. You can get so creative with what you put in a slow cooker that it makes life extremely easy. Otherwise, those are the nights that I'm going to be cooking in the air fryer because the cooking time is shorter. I might be doing some toasted sandwiches or even breakfast for dinner, but plan that into your weeks, that as you are looking at your weekly overviews, find the nights that you know you either want to have an easier night off, or because you're getting late, you just don't have the freedom to do a lot of cooking time, and find recipes that are going to help save your sanity. Now, another reason why we only plan for a season is because we're going to find recipes that suit that season. In winter, I'm going to put into my weekly rotation a soup and maybe a roast or something a little bit more carby. In summer, I don't want to be having those things into my seasonal rotation. So I'm going to have things that are like protein and salad, or I'm going to have just lighter dinners because that's what the season calls for. We found from personal experience, by the time that we have rotated through our monthly plan for the season, the 3 times, the kids are definitely getting over those sorts of dinners, and hitting the refresh button helps us to have more successful dinners. Not only is it better because we're eating what's in season, which means it's cheaper, but it's also changing things up as we go. I haven't really used a seasonal planner through every year because we've got little guys coming through, so the meals that I am planning are having to cater for those different age groups. But I'm sure there probably will come a time where I could plan a summer, autumn, winter, and spring dinner rotation and just keep cycling through it if I wanted to. Now, the last tip is find meals that are adaptable if you are planning for a family. If meatballs are a hit with all of the kids, but you personally don't feel like spaghetti meatballs, that's okay. Plan the spaghetti and meatballs for the kids, and maybe you want to add yours onto a sub or want to put it with some salad or some roasted veggies. I always find if I can find a base protein that can fit all of us, I don't really want to be cooking 2 or 3 dinners, but a simple salad bag with my meatballs is an easy substitute that is going to feel better for me, but also cater for my kids' needs and give me an easier dinner. And just because I love geeking out on the science behind things, the Australian Nutrition Guide has said that on your child's plate, it is best for them to have half of the plate with fruit and vegetables, a quarter for grain, and a quarter for protein. I know personally it is so easy to do like half a plate of carbohydrates for them and a little bit of protein and a little bit of veggies because it's really hard to get a successful dinner out of them. But I'm just going to share a couple of tips that has helped us when feeding our littles. The first is getting these segment plates. These plates are a game changer because as you are dishing up 6 plates of dinners, you can see visually how much needs to be there. So all of the fruit and veg need to be here, protein here, and some of the grain here. Another recent game changer for us is because we have a circular table, we have a Lazy Susan in the center, and we do Lazy Susan dinners. Now these are great because I just put everything onto Susan and the family then just eats off it, kind of like a grazing board. We as parents are still monitoring what the kids are eating, especially the littles, and making suggestions that, well, you've had a lot of cucumber, how about we get a meatball? But these dinners have definitely been more successful. They're not an every night occurrence, but they're at least once a week in the Rashidi household. Question of the day: what is your biggest struggle at mealtime? For us, it could be the fact that we've plated it wrong. Maybe it doesn't look visually appealing. Textures are also a big thing. If one of the kids can't handle that protein, making sure that we cut it in a particular way. But I would just love to know what your struggles are so that we can support each other in the comment section below. So that's how we plan dinners for an entire season. It has been an absolute game changer for us personally. It has taking the stress off of having to do quick grocery shops at the end of a busy day. It gives us less mental fatigue because we're not having to figure out what's for dinner, and it gives us just a little bit more control when it comes to our evening routine. I really hope these tips have helped lighten your mental load of figuring out what's for dinner. If it has, please give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap that bell, because this Parenting Geek doesn't come with the rulebook, we only have each other. And here on the end screen, I've picked 2 more videos just for you, so keep on watching.